Let's learn some shortcuts in Visual Studio. This is Daniel and you are going to get coded. Before we start, I want to tell you that this video was suggested by Joe, one of my subscribers. So thank you, Joe, for this amazing idea. I do believe that shortcuts are an amazing thing that we should learn as developers. So the whole idea of the shortcut is to actually not use this. So we don't want to use the mouse. And the reason for this is because we want to develop faster, so we want to write faster, we want to make use of the keyboard, more of the mouse. So my advice for you right now is to take your mouse and put it in a drawer and forget about it for some time. And sorry about that, I don't know what happened. Yeah, and forget for some time about it. Maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. Just try to forget about the mouse and try to stick to the keyboard. I know sometimes it's difficult because some actions are easier through the mouse, but you need to make use of the keyboard. So try this experiment 1 or 2 hours of coding and see how far you get. I know it's very frustrating. I was the same. I used to think like shortcuts are just so difficult. I cannot get my head around shortcuts, but right now I love them. So also I want to tell you some other thing. This is the second time when I'm recording this specific lesson. So the first time I actually tried to cram all these shortcuts into one video, and I ended up having a video which was more than 1 hour long, which is way too much. And I almost fainted because, yeah, I had to explain just so much. So right now I will try to split all these shortcuts into smaller videos so that you can digest them more easily and all of that jazz, okay? So this is like my mindset right now, to actually split this into several videos. And one important thing, this is how I want you to learn shortcuts. This is my approach. This is how I think we should learn shortcuts. So there are many shortcuts. And here I chose to have like the most important, the most useful shortcuts in Visual Studio. Apart from these, you will find others. But if you stick to these, everything is going to be alright, okay? I don't know all of them, even from here. So it's a learning process for myself as well. So it's not about stressing over shortcuts and trying to remember all of them. So try like day by day to integrate more and more shortcuts, okay? So I was talking about the way I want to teach you guys about these shortcuts. So I split, or I grouped the shortcuts into several levels. So the first level, as you can see right here, is the word level. So I go from the smallest part, so the word, and then I go to words, so how to select, how to operate on multiple words, and then one line, multiple lines, one document or one file, and then multiple files. So from one word, I go to words, line, lines, document, and document. So from small to big. This is a better approach from my point of view to actually learn shortcuts, because when you are in one line or in one word, there you need the shortcuts. And you ask yourself, how can I select this? How can I rename this? How can I select all these lines? How can I go to the end of the file? So it's easier for you to actually remember shortcuts when they are grouped like this, because they are related to each other, okay? So in this first video, I want to make like the introduction of what I'm about to do. So I'm about to post many videos about shortcuts so that you can learn them easier than to have just a long 1 hour video, okay? So the reasons why to use shortcuts are many, but I chose to have here just 4. So accelerating development, you write faster. Increasing productivity, you write more code in less time. Simplifying writing, you don't have to like do all of that and write it yourself. You can simplify the way you write code because everything is generated by Visual Studio. Like not everything, but many things that you want are generated by Visual Studio. And the last thing is looking fancy. A developer who uses shortcuts looks fancy, okay? And you want to look fancy as well. So these are the things that I wanted to tell you. Also, on the right side of the screen, you can see some code. You can find a link in the description down below for this specific code. I created a repository for this code to actually have something to show you. Also, I might consider creating a separate video for this specific code. This is more like input and output, so I/O for consoles in Visual Studio. I think it's an amazing practice to actually have this as a separate video. So again, you don't need to actually understand the code. I will just use the code to actually explain these shortcuts because I need some code to work with, okay? So this is the reason why I have here this code. Again, you can find the link to the repo down below, and also the shortcuts, you can find a link to this post down below as well. So you have all these links down. So I hope you are excited about this and keep on watching when I start with shortcuts. Bye guys.